If you were to take a poll asking people why it is they play JRPGs, you would surely get a variety of answers. Popular answers would include stuff like the story, the gameplay, the atmosphere, and the characters. Out of all the genres in video games, it wouldn't be a controversial opinion to say that JRPGs have some of the most memorable characters out there, especially protagonists. The iconic Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII is the perfect example. I mean, the dude won the Game FAQ's character battle one year, beating out Link from Zelda, and finished in the top 4 basically every other year besides that. And by the way, who else misses those character battles from Game FAQs along with the site in general? So many great memories browsing those message boards as a young tyke. Good times. Anyway, like I was saying, JRPG protagonists are pretty awesome, and the genre has blessed us with many great examples over the years. So with that said, I thought it'd be fun to count down my personal top 10. Obviously, this is completely subjective, and I cannot deny that nostalgia will undoubtedly play a role here. However, I'm also going to be taking into big consideration how the character is written, and / their growth and development throughout the game. Oh yeah, character design preferences will play a role too, just not a huge one. Also, just to save people the disappointment, there'll be no silent protagonist on this list. Kinda hard to appreciate a character when they don't, actually talk. Sorry Dragon Quest and Persona fans. I will say though, if I did make a list like that, Chrono from Chrono Trigger, Ryu from Breath of Fire, and Rudy from Wild Arms would be topping that list, no question. I'm adding this part in after the initial recording. I forgot about Adol from East and Vaughn from Legend of Legaia. They're pretty cool too. Last thing, I will be limiting each spot to 1 entry per series, except for one exception. You'll find out soon enough though. Alright, this intro's already long enough, so let's waste no more of your time. Here is a very subjective list of my top 10 protagonists in JRPGs. Coming in at number 10, we have Magnus Gallant from Ogre Battle 64. I'm just gonna say it, this dude is straight up underrated. After I came up with this list, I was curious to see what other people thought, so I googled favorite JRPG protagonists and saw a lot of common names, some of which you'll see later in this video. However, one name I did not see was the homie Magnus. I mean, to be fair, Ogre Battle 64 was a pretty overlooked game, so I'm not too surprised to see the lack of Magnus, but still, that doesn't make it right. This guy kicks ass and deserves more recognition. First of all, I'm a big fan of his design. It's pretty simple, nothing too loud, but still looks cool to me. I kind of get Dart from the Legend of Dragoon vibe, with the whole armor piece for one of his arms being a lot bigger and bulkier than the other. Personality-wise, he's pretty much your stereotypical calm and stoic hero. However, I do really like how he grows and develops throughout the game. He starts off as an inexperienced rookie soldier before he grows into a badass confident general capable of commanding an entire army. I am aware that some of his actions are determined by some of the choices that the player makes later in the game, but regardless, he still remains confident no matter which route you choose. I also love how there is a time skip so we get 2 different sprites and 2 different character portraits. Seeing his character actually change physically really helps that mental and emotional growth feel more believable. All in all, Magnus is just cool as shit and deserves way more love. Sharing the number 9 spot, we have Ashley Winchester from Wild Arms 2 and Virginia Maxwell from Wild Arms 3. Yup, I'm including both of them here because I had a hard time picking between the two, plus both female protagonists and the Wild Arms series need some more love. Let's start with Ashley. This is another dude that got no love when I was looking up favorite JRPG protagonist, and I don't really know why. He's competent, he's level-headed, he's committed in a mature relationship, he can transform into the incredibly strong and cool Night Blazer, and yeah, what's not to love? His relationship with Marina was a real highlight of the game and was handled very well. I love that she's not actually a party member, so it makes the times that they do see each other that much more special. It felt pretty realistic, and it was a refreshing change of pace to have a protagonist that communicated well with their love interest. Design-wise, I do like him a lot better than Jude and Dean from Wild Arms 4 and 5, however, I do still probably like Rudy from Wild Arms 1 just a little bit more. Still a fan of the fit overall though. Now, Virginia Maxwell. she's pretty awesome too. She's an idealistic drifter who begins the game maybe a little naive in some aspects, but with that said, she does grow and mature a lot throughout her journey. Despite being exposed to the harsher realities of the world, she never really loses her hope and optimism, her bravery, and her sense of justice. Oh yeah, she also turns into a really capable leader. She's just a great person overall, and one of the most fantastic female protagonists the genre has to offer. And pretty cool design too. It makes sense within the game's world and fits the Western motif well. Coming in at number 8, we have Yuri Hyuga from Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant. Alright, we're already getting to the part of the list where any entry from here on out could easily be a lot of people's all-time favorite. Yuri Hyuga is a rude, sarcastic anti-hero of sorts and is a huge breath of fresh air in the genre. This dude's certainly not afraid to say whatever the hell he wants. He's also a Harmonixer, which is someone who has the ability to transform into the monsters that he defeats in battle. So yeah, if you had to describe Yuri in one word, it would effectively be badass. With that said, he's not just a straight up asshole though either. He does show a soft spot to those he really loves and cares about, and will do anything to protect them. He's basically chaotic good down to a T. While his personality may change a little bit from game to game after some events happen, his core traits always remain the same. When it comes to his design, I think I slightly prefer how he looks in the first one, but I still like his second game design too. I don't think it's like top tier protagonist design, but I like it well enough. Anyway, Yuri is just an awesome character through and through, and is absolutely deserving of all the praise he gets. Coming in at number 7, we have Estelle Bright from The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. I'm sorry all you Reen memers out there, even the harem chat himself must kneel to the OG that started it all. The Legend of Heroes storyline is like 10 plus games deep at this point, and Estelle was the first protagonist to introduce us to this incredibly immersive world. Because she's a little rookie fledgling bracer traveling the continent for the first time herself, she serves as the perfect lens to the player to experience it all from. What really makes her so memorable though is her overall arc and character journey. At the beginning of the first Trails in the Sky game, she starts off as an energetic, optimistic girl with sort of a naive look on the world and somewhat of a short temper. For the most part, these qualities remain the same, she just grows wiser, more mature, and learns how to regulate her emotions better. I really love that she's not just hopelessly optimistic like a lot of other heroes of that same trope that never show a sign of sadness, which, you know, is a very normal and human emotion to feel. She breaks down several times throughout Trails in the Sky 1 and 2, but she still always manages to emerge stronger from it. No matter how dark a situation may seem, she always finds a way to see the light through it. That, combined with her genuinely friendly and infectious aura that brightens up the room, is why a lot of other characters seem to always tell her that she shines like the sun. She just has that type of personality that can't help but improve the mood of those she's around. Plus, not gonna lie, the growth of her relationship with Joshua is handled really well and pretty damn cute. As far as design goes, I like her fit too. Simple, but still recognizable enough. I think the pigtails fit her character well. Honestly, her whole design kinda gives me female version vibes of the main hero from Suikoden 1. That's a plus in my book. Estelle would continue to make appearances in the expanded Trails of storyline. However, these first 2 Trails in the Sky games are the only ones where she's a primary protagonist and shines the most. Coming in at number 6, we have Zidane from Final Fantasy IX. That still sounds weird for me to say. I always pronounced it as Zidane as a kid, but I guess in Dissidia they officially pronounced it as Zidane, so Zidane it is, I guess.
Zidane!
Anyway, Zidane is my pick from the Final Fantasy series, and let me explain why. After getting a couple of moodier protagonists with Cloud and Squall, it was a nice change of pace to get a lot more happier, upbeat, outgoing main hero. He's witty, charming, and always there for his friends. 3 qualities that I absolutely love. Of course, he is a bit of a player and does have some perverted moments. I mean, who could forget the memorable ooh soft scene? But with that said, he does grow up and mature a lot throughout the game. Plus, it was nice to get a Final Fantasy protagonist who actually knows how to talk to a girl. I really love his relationships with all the other party members as well. His friendly big brother dynamic with Vivi, His constant teasing of Steiner, his fairy tale type romance with Garnet, his whole drinking buddy vibe with Freya, his rivalry with Amarant, and yeah, you get the idea. His relationship with Princess Garnet, aka Dagger, is easily my favorite in the entire Final Fantasy series. So many super memorable moments, and the ending, so good. All in all, Zidane is an incredibly well-written character and just looks like a super fun, positive guy to be around. He's one of those dudes that I would just love to sit down and have a drink with, you know? The only aspect he falls short in, unfortunately, in my opinion, is his design. Love the dude. Kinda hate the look though. By the time I got really into RPGs as a kid, all 3 PS1 Final Fantasies were already out, and I remember trying 9 last just because of how he looked on the cover. Thankfully, I learned not to judge a book by its cover. However, with that said, I can't deny that he would probably rank a little higher for me if I liked his design more. On the positive side, at least he does have a cool-ass weapon. That double-bladed blade is one of the dopest weapons out there. Mad Surge from Chrono Cross vibes. Game creators, please give us more weapons like this. These things are awesome as hell. Coming in at number 5, we have Ryudo from Grandia II. The snarky, sarcastic bastard himself. At one point, Ryudo probably was my favorite protagonist ever. However, throughout the years, he's kind of dropped down a little bit for me, but with that said, I still love him. As I've gotten older, I guess I prefer heroes that are a little nicer while still being a badass. Regardless though, Ryudo is an awesome protagonist. He's a Geohound, which is basically that game's version of a mercenary, and has a cool Falcon sidekick that he has witty, back-and-forth banter with. The greatness writes itself. With that said, it's his personality that makes him stand out so much though. He's another anti-hero of sorts, pretty similar to Yuri Hyuga from Shadow Hearts. He always speaks what's on his mind, so he can come off as kind of rude and kind of an asshole at times. With that said, he does ease up a bit on some of these traits as the game goes on, and starts showing more traditional, heroic qualities, and will do anything to protect his friends. To make his character even cooler, he's voiced by the legendary voice actor Cam Clark, known for a variety of work, but perhaps best known for his roles as Leonardo and Rocksteady in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series.
We're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
You really do work incredibly hard.
Huh?
As far as JRPGs go, he was also the voice of Kratos in Tales of Symphonia, another one of my all-time favorite characters. Voice acting aside, design-wise, I'm also a huge fan. One of my favorites on this list for sure. I don't really know what those things on his head are, but damn it looks cool. From his personality, to his voice, to his design, Ryudo is definitely one of the best protagonists the genre has seen. Coming in at number 4, we have Vice from Skies of Arcadia. I mean, how could a swashbuckling air pirate with a cool glass eye patch not make it on this list? Vice is a popular protagonist for good reason. He's courageous, he's charming, he's hopeful and positive without being annoying about it, he's always there for his friends, and yeah, what's not to love? He's just an all-around great dude. I will say that he doesn't necessarily get a crazy amount of development throughout the game, but that just goes to show how strong of a character he is. Not every character needs a super deep transformation to make them good, like Luke von Fabra from Tales of the Abyss. Vice remains a likable protagonist from beginning to end, and simply just grows stronger throughout the course of his journey. At the start of the game, Vice is already a brave and heroic person. It's just not until the events of the game that he actually gets to put those traits to the test. And of course, when those moments do happen, he passes with flying colors. With that said, he obviously does lack the overall strength at the beginning of the game, so it is satisfying to watch him turn into a stronger version of himself and become an absolute badass pirate king. Design-wise, I'm a huge fan. He nails that air pirate style perfectly. I'm not gonna lie, his design does play a big role into where he's at on the list. Even including silent protagonist, his design is one of my all-time favorites. His fighting style is really cool too. I love how he holds one of his cutlasses by the side handle. It's just such a cool, unique take on the dual sword concept. All in all, Vice is an awesome character through and through, and one of my favorites in the genre. Coming in at number 3, we have Yuri Lowell from Tales of Esparia. Yuri gets a lot of love online, and it's not hard to see why.
Yuri!
The witty, dashing hero who likes to live life in the gray and by his own rules while still showing compassion to his friends. Sign me the hell up. I absolutely love protagonists like this. We really need more of them. He's definitely not a true anti-hero, as he does have some heroic qualities like helping those in need, motivating and protecting his friends, and yeah, stuff like that. With that said, however, he's also a vigilante and not afraid to take matters into his own hands. I won't spoil it, but let's just say there's a certain scene in the game that he's notoriously known for. To sum it up, there's a pretty awful person that the justice system wasn't gonna take care of properly, so Yuri decides to enact justice in his own way. The first time I saw that scene, I was like, holy shit, this dude's fucking cool. Total badass moment. He's also voiced by the prolific voice actor Troy Baker, who's been in more stuff than I can even count, and has a really awesome, deep voice that makes him even cooler. It's the perfect voice for his calm, laid-back, easygoing personality.
Alright, let's get going.
He's just charismatic as hell. When it comes to his design, I like it. Not my absolute favorite, but I do like it. Maybe a little too much black for me, but it works well enough. As an overall character though, Yuri is hands down one of the best protagonists the genre has ever seen. Coming in at number 2, we have Ichiban Kasuga from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yep, the newest protagonist on this list has a very well-deserved spot. Ichiban took me completely by surprise. I did not expect to love this dude as much as I did. Kazuma Kiryu of like the previous 7 Yakuza games was a hard act to follow, but damn it, Ichiban stepped up to the plate and hit that bitch out of the park. Whereas Kiryu is a lot more calm and collected, Ichiban is a lot more passionate and hot-headed. He's very much an act first and think later type of guy, and sometimes lets his emotions get the best of him. With that said, his emotions always come from the right place. He's the type of person that would literally do anything and everything for his friends. I'm just an incredibly loyal guy, through and through. Another thing I love about him is his obsession with RPGs, most notably Dragon Quest. Hey, just like me. He often compares real life to RPGs, like how you gotta grind for money or level up to get stronger. I've always thought this myself in the past, so it was cool to hear it validated in an actual video game. He does take it a bit farther though, with him deluding himself into seeing video game enemies in real life, but hey, the man's just a serious gamer and an avid fan of the hobby. I can't hate on that. As likable as his character is written though, what really helps take his memorability to the next level is his voice acting performance.
And I heard you joined the JSDF only to flunk out and come crawling back here. Life's a bitch, huh?
Gaiji Tang does an absolutely outstanding job giving so much passion, charm, and emotion into Ichiban. I'm just gonna say it's not only one of the best voice acting performances I've heard in a JRPG, but it's one of the best I've heard in a video game, period. Between the emotional main story moments and the wacky side content, the range this man has to hit is incredible. The emotion in the ending scenes just had me jaw drop.
No one appreciated you for who you are? Bullshit!
It looks like Kaiji Tang has gotten some decent work before, however, he's not like a really huge name yet. But with that said, with performances like this, I wholeheartedly expect that to change in the future. Alright, I've been gushing about Ichiban long enough now, but the last thing I'll say is that I love that he's an older character in his 40s. Combined with the fact that the game takes place in a real-life modern setting, it just makes his character so much more relatable. In a genre full of 17-year-olds exploring fantasy lands, getting a 42-year-old just trying to get by in life is a really nice change of pace. And can we please get more JRPG protagonists like this? Ichiban is a perfect example of how incredibly well done they can be.
Eat at Ichiban's Ichiban Senbei.
First in smiles, Ichiban Confections.
Before we get to the number 1 spot, let's go over some honorable mentions. Cecil from Final Fantasy IV, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, Ramza from Final Fantasy Tactics, and Tidus from Final Fantasy X. Yup, some of my other favorite Final Fantasy protagonists deserve a shout out too. Cecil has a great character transformation, Cloud has a complex past as well as an absolutely iconic design, Ramza shows a lot of growth and maturity as the game goes on, and while Tidus can be a little annoying, I think that his design is memorable and that his character is written well. Reina from Star Ocean, the second story. Yup, I actually like Reina better than Claude, even though I did choose Claude in my first playthrough. Not only do you get access to a better character on Reina's playthrough, I think she's just a little bit more likable overall, as Claude's jealousy towards her childhood friend Diaz was just a little annoying at times. I will say though that her original PS1 art is way better than the PSP remake's art. Don't at me.
Big whoop, wanna fight about it?
Kaim from Lost Odyssey. Being an immortal who's lived for 1,000 years, you could say that Kaim's been through some shit. However, he really only shows a lot of that personality in the flashback dream sequences. In the main game, he's a little bit too stoic and bland for my liking. Given what he's gone through, it does make sense for him to be more closed off, but still. By the way, what's up with that lone strand of hair, too? No matter how much acrobatic shit this dude is doing, that frickin' thing just never moves, straight up defying gravity. Always low-key kind of annoyed me. Anyway, Lyneth from Valkyrie Profile, a badass Valkyrie goddess who recruits fallen soldiers to help her fight in battle. Enough said. Mice from Thousand Arms. Yeah, this one's probably random as hell to a lot of you guys. His perverted skirt-chasing personality would absolutely get cancelled in current year, but it's a product of the time, and besides those moments, he can be a pretty likable dude. I really just love his design and the whole concept of a spirit blacksmith more than anything. Channeling spirits into weapons to make them stronger is just really cool to me. Alice from Phantasy Star. The OG JRPG female hero certainly deserves a mention. She broke the mold in a lot of ways and was an awesome character. And the last honorable mention, Stock from Radiant Historia. I actually haven't played Radiant Historia yet, but when looking up favorite JRPG protagonist online, Stock came up a lot and seemed to be a fan favorite. He's apparently calm, collected, and capable, so I'm sure when I get around to the game, I'm gonna love him too. For now though, I just wanted to include him here for you guys. Alright, with all those out of the way, we are finally at the number 1 spot. Coming in as my all-time favorite JRPG protagonist, we have Fei Fong Wong from Xenogears. When I think of JRPG protagonist, Fei is usually the first one to come to mind. That's gotta mean something. Nostalgia without a doubt plays a bit of a role here, but it's not just that. Fei is an extremely memorable and overall just amazing protagonist, and let me explain why. Let's switch it up and start with his design first. To put it simply, his design is iconic to me. Whenever I see his character, I just can't help but feel a wave of nostalgia rush over me and think about my childhood. It's like peak character design for me and just epitomizes that 90s anime vibe so well. He has that old school martial artist style down perfectly. Everything just works so well for me, even his ponytail. Being a martial artist, I really love that he fights with his fist too. It's a nice change of pace from a typical sword-wielding main hero. Now, aside from design, what really makes his character so memorable and unique is his backstory and personality. Or should I say, personalities. I'll try not to spoil it too much, but let's just say that the Freudian psychological concept of the id, ego, and superego makes its appearance here. It adds such layers of complexity to Fei's character that we had never seen before and since. He's an incredibly deep character with a lot of conflicting thoughts and feelings. Because of this, his personality and therefore his motivations and desires go through a lot of changes throughout the game. At the beginning of the game, he's a simple martial artist who likes to paint, living a quiet life in a peaceful village. He has no memories of his past, but that doesn't matter. He's happy. However, after some unfortunate events happen involving him piloting a giant mech trying to save his village but instead killing a lot of his friends by accident, his quiet life is turned upside down. He tries to avoid violence after that and even gets really depressed for a while before he eventually realizes that sometimes it is needed in order to protect those he cares about. Of course, his journey is a lot more complex than that, and I'm only scratching the surface here. I will say though that his overall character journey is super memorable from beginning to end. So, yeah, between his cool-ass design, fighting style, complex personality, and really deep backstory, it should be pretty easy to see why Fei is so beloved in the genre. All these reasons are why he's my personal favorite JRPG protagonist of all time. Alright, and that about wraps up this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please either consider hitting that like button or subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I know I listed mine, but who were some of your favorite protagonists in the genre? I'm sure that there's a lot of other great examples out there that I didn't mention. Let us know in the comments below. By the way, I briefly mentioned my thoughts about silent protagonists in the intro, but if you want to hear my full thoughts on them, we did release a video a while back about why they do and don't work, so check that one out if you're interested. As always, just want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters, and an extra special shout out to our top patrons, Aaron Melcher, Jesse Spencer, and Jump Rock. It's awesome to see this list growing, so seriously, thank you guys so much. And just a quick reminder, as we've had some people ask about it, all patrons do get access to our Gaming Productions Discord server. We have some pretty good combos there, and those that are in it probably weren't surprised to see Ashley on this list, considering he is my profile picture. Friggin' love that dude. Anyway, thanks again for watching, everyone, and hope you have an awesome day. This is Corbin from Gaming Productions. Until next time.